It's been a week straight out of hell for James Pitzen.
It was a very stressful, crazy time.
First, his wife Amy disappears with their only child, 6-year-old Timothy, her little pride and joy. Now, 3 days later, James learns that Amy is dead by suicide, and Timothy vanished without a trace.
Why she did it, how she did it, how could she have done this, and where is Timothy at? That's the big question, is where is he?
Police immediately retracing Amy's journey with Timothy over those fateful 3 days. The trail from Aurora leads 30 miles east to the Brookfield Zoo, then north to the Key Lime Cove Water Resort, and then 160 miles northwest to Kalahari Resorts in Wisconsin, where a surveillance camera captures them checking out after their stay.
Timothy was following Mom. Timothy was playing with looks like a semi-truck on the floor, driving on the floor. Timothy was happy and didn't seem to have any distress or anything.
She took him to what was probably the last vacation of certainly their lives together. And then you see visuals of him knowing that his mother would soon kill herself and he would disappear. This is what is so haunting about this story.
Amy then heads 120 miles south back into Illinois. A security camera picks her up at a food market near the town of Rockford, but she is alone with no sign of Timothy. The next day, a maid finds her lifeless body in a nearby motel room.
She was definitely wrestling with the demons, and the demons were winning. And they eventually won.
Police discover a shocking suicide note on the table, triggering a mystery that haunts James every day. What note did Amy leave at the motel?
She apologized for the mess she created, and that Timothy was safe with people who loved him, and he would never be found.
She said Timothy is safe.
Yes.
And will never be found?
Safe with people who loved him and would never be found.
So basically, Amy just hands off Timothy to another person or another couple. Just, here you go.
Yeah, pretty much. That's from what I understand.
What kind of people are these that would just take a 6-year-old?
I have no idea. She might have been in contact with them for months. I don't know what she could have said to them to get somebody to do that, take a child from his rest of his family.
Another note Amy mailed to her mother, Alana Anderson, is no less confounding. On a phone interview for the Nancy Grace Show, Alana reads the letter on air shortly after Amy's suicide.
So I've taken him somewhere safe. He will be well cared for, and he says that he loves you. Please know that there is nothing you could have said or done that would have changed my mind.
Cryptic words that only a dead woman can decipher.
The note, to me, is probably the saddest part of this whole story, because it's almost like she's teasing the family, not giving them closure. It perhaps is the cruelest part of this, because now they don't know what happened to him. It gives them hope, but yet, where has that hope gone?
But it is also known that Amy struggled with depression and had survived at least one suicide attempt in the past, leading to speculation about what might have really happened to Timothy.
We know that mothers can kill their children, even mothers who loved their children. We know from other stories we've heard. We can't understand somebody who's struggling with mental illness and what they can or can't do. And it's hard for us to understand that, but I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility.
Could she have been in such a dark place that she convinced herself the best place for Timothy was to leave this earth as well?
I've talked to a few people about that, psychologists and stuff like that. All of them have said if she was going to take Timothy's life, she would have taken Timothy's life first, then hers, and Timothy would be in the same room or the same vicinity as she was, and not take his life someplace else and go somewhere else. I can't see her doing that, taking his life. That's just not her.
Police know that Amy bought Timothy clothes and toys on the road, like these samples, none of which were ever found.
I mean, his backpack's missing, the cars, no clothing has been found.
They also know that in the months before her suicide, she made 2 unexplained driving trips to the same area where Timothy went missing.
Because Amy drove through the area where he disappeared before, I can only conclude that this was a very pre-planned event that perhaps gives hope to the family that this really was something that she thought out carefully, including the note she left that said he's safe and with someone who will care for him.
An inspection of Amy's SUV by police shows that she had pulled off an unpaved road somewhere on her final journey, backing into a field and leaving grass and dirt under the rear bumper.
It was on a gravel blacktop road. That's where she was, or that's where the switch happened.
But alarmingly, investigators also find dried blood on the back seat of Amy's car. The family says it's a false lead, the result of a nosebleed from Timothy months before that road trip. But cops conduct an exhaustive search for the boy in some of the remote areas along Amy's long-distance route.
They narrowed it down to a certain geography, hoping that that would give them clues, but there was no body found. Obviously, that's what they were looking for, but nothing was ever found in that particular case.
And then, what seems to be a huge break in the case, Amy's cell phone is found on a roadside and turned into police.
They were very excited. They really thought this might be the break this case needed to find that little boy. And I know they were very disappointed when, after all the information came in off that cell phone, there was nothing there, not one clue.
The questions are many, and the answers are few, including why Amy would even consider such a desperate act in the first place. James tells us it's a question that eats away at him all the time. He worries if it was because of a problem in their marriage years prior to Timothy's disappearance.
A couple years before this happened, I caught her texting and emailing her ex-husband, and yeah, I blew up about that, and I go, you need to choose on where you want to be. And I go, I'll get custody of Tim, and you can go do whatever you want. If you want to be with him, there's the door, get your stuff and leave.
But she decided to stay.
Yeah, she decided to stay.
It's now been 6 excruciating years since Timothy has gone missing. Today he would be 12 years old, perhaps looking something like this computer-generated age progression image from the Center for Missing and Exploited Children, as the search for him goes on.
The Aurora Police Department did not sit down for an interview, but they did provide Crime Watch Daily with this statement that reads, in part, although we have not been successful in locating him to date, our resolve to bring Timothy home to his family remains undeterred.
And James Pitzen, along with all who knew Amy best, insists that she would never harm Timothy under any circumstances.
I know he's alive. He's alive somewhere. Amy would never do anything to hurt Timothy. Timothy was like her little prince.
And he continues to hope that someday, soon he will get another knock on the door, this time with the best news of his life.
Every day I get up and check my phone and wait for the detective to say, hey, we found Timothy here. It's going to be a glorious day when he comes home. Just can't wait. It's going to be happy. I'm going to cry a lot. I'm going to cry a lot when he comes home.
Here's another look at Timothy Pitzen when he disappeared. And here's an age progression picture of what he might look like now. Anyone with information on this case is asked to call the Aurora Police at 1-630-256-5500.